Yeah.
But a lot of this generation, from what they're telling me, they get called soft a lot.
Yeah.
They say, oh, this generation soft.
Yeah.
We got called soft.
Yeah.
Like every generation calls the other generation soft.
Yeah.
I don't know why that is, but why are they soft?
Where did these students come from? Where did these students come from? Which is not.
I mean, that's a very
Sarcastic.
interesting question.
It's sarcastic because it's like, where did you come from? They're doing this, they're doing that. And forgive me because it might sound like I'm bashing an older generation, including myself being older than Generation Z. I'm not trying to bash, but I see these fundamental challenges that we have to actually getting somewhere good. This is a challenge we have, getting beyond just feeling like they're out of their minds, or they are too far gone, or they want to do this stuff, or they want to do that stuff, and that just don't make sense. Well, these students came from somewhere. So who are their parents? Who are their parents? Gen X? There's not many millennials that have Gen Z kids, but I think the oldest of us do.
They do.
Yeah, like 13-year-old, 14-year-olds. We are the parents. We created them, you know. We each of us are the result of our own upbringing, culture, environment, all of those things. Decisions that we made, of course, that's a pretty big part of that. But ultimately, when it comes to like how a whole generation is thinking or how a whole generation is operating, we have to look at the generations prior to it in order to help solve that problem. That's not something we really like to do, though.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
You sparked something.
Go ahead.
So I have a mentor that I work with on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking to her about my daughter. Now, my daughter's an alpha.
Yeah.
But when it comes to
Generation Alpha, if y'all was.
Yeah, Generation Alpha. Yeah. Sorry, they are after the younger Generation Z.
Yeah.
Basically, they're the next
generation
people after them.
Yeah.
Yes. And I was talking because my daughter, so she went through this spurt where she would bite people in school. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I was glad she was biting, not being bit.
I understand.
Just being real.
I understand.
Yes.
I understand.
But I wasn't glad. Let me not say I wasn't glad, but we can work on taming it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So with that being said, she said, "Where did that come from?" So what do you mean? Where did that come from? She said, "If you did not teach a child something,
mm-hmm.
that means it was already in them."
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay. What are you saying to me?
Yeah.
So she's asking me the same questions, and I wanted more that we want to ask Gen Z right now. I said, what do you mean? That means that is something, that is an issue, a character traits that was established in the past from a previous generation that is still in the bloodline.
Very
and so if
Very
she is being sassy to authority, is somebody, either myself, my wife, someone previous generation, did they have an issue with authority?
Reasonable question.
And so are there things that we are inherently doing, and that we, so if we work somewhere and our boss tells us something, we just get instantly mad and irritated.
Yeah.
Even if it's true.
Yeah.
So think about, are we seeing that in our children? Are we seeing that in Gen Z?
Yeah.
It came from somewhere. Because they're born, we like to think that they're born with a blank slate.
Oh, but absolutely they're not.
They were written all over from hundreds and hundreds and thousands of years ago that we did not realize or we did not address.
Same thing for ourselves.
Yes.
We don't, so we're having the nature versus nurture conversation, which that's a real conversation to have. Part of it is why do you have the propensity to not be bit than to bite? Like,
that's
there's something in us that's saying you got to go one way or the other. Part of it is survival, but we even try to survive in different ways. Some of us try to survive by staying in the background. Like, I'm going to step back, and if I let everybody go ahead of me, I don't have to worry about the issues. So if somebody want to take a toy I got, right, I'll let you take that toy. That's no problem, because it absolves me of having to get aggressive, you know, or deal with your aggression. So here's my stuff. Versus, oh, you want to take my toy? I'm biting you. Or I want your toy. I'm biting you. Well, there's something in there that is coming together, a mixture of things where we decide which way we're going to be. That applies to all human beings, so why not this generation? What's in this generation? What were they taught or not taught? Because that's a part too. We can have a propensity to do something, but then get taught to do something otherwise. And at a young age, you're taught to tame certain things or to get rid of certain things, and that becomes our new normal. But it's either what we're taught to do or what we're taught not to do, and this stuff that's mixed on the inside. Neither one of us are scientists, so we're not trying to get into genetics and things of that nature. But based on our own lives, what we know, what we've read, what we do have knowledge in and a proficiency in, we can see how the students of today didn't just pop up. Because we also see the differences in those students among other students their same age, their peers, right? There are differences between one student and another one. And sometimes you can look straight to the parents and say, oh, this one raised them like this one raised them like this. Well, sometimes it's not necessarily the good parents that raised the good kid. Sometimes that good kid didn't have any parents. And they're out here trying to survive. And so they have learned through some way, form, or fashion how to operate their lives in order to get from one step to the next. Well, if we zoom out of this conversation, because I think we can go down a lot of different things, go down a lot of different roads here, the main thing is they came from somewhere.
Yes.
Who are your parents? Who are the people who are going to teach you what to do and what not to do? Who are the people who are going to guide you, not just as a child, but even as an adult? Because now we're talking about mentors and mentees. Because the reality is, once we hit 18, and I'm sure if you're listening to this and you are past the age of 18, you understand 18 is not the golden year where all of a sudden all knowledge comes into your mind and you have you have self-actualization, and you're like, I am this person, and I see myself so clearly now, and I can go here, I can do this. No, there's still the same knowledge you needed at 17. 17 and 23 hours and 59 seconds is the same knowledge you need after the clock strikes 1 and now you are 18 years old. Who's going to teach you? Who's going to guide you? That's us for Generation Z. They didn't just get here. They have a journey that took them here. As a matter of fact, they were, even more importantly, they were born on our journey. They were born when we were on our way somewhere, and we know we was trying to figure it out. We didn't know exactly what was gonna be what. We on the road somewhere, and then like there's the baby. There's this new person in life. And so they pick up on our habits, our decisions, what's going on in the wider culture of the world, the disasters that happen, the triumphs that happen, what the culture is saying, the culture, there's many cultures involved in one. They came from us.
Why is that important for us to know?
Because the solution is probably closer than we think.
Help me.
It's probably in me. It's probably in me deciding, and I don't mean that to put weight on our backs, too much weight, where it's like, oh, this whole generation is on my back, I gotta carry them, they are the cross. No, they're not the cross that's on our back. But if I do a little bit of time working on why I did what I did, and why we did what we did as a as an American society or as a Dallas society, we're in Dallas, by the way, I'm not sure where you're watching from, but if we do a little work on why, just trying to figure out why we did what we did, it'll help us see more clearly why our kids came out like they did and why they are growing up the way they are. And not only that, how we can then solve some of those problems or help them navigate challenges that are coming down the road for them,
Yes.
and to make better decisions at their current age.
Yes. So basically, self-awareness leads to self-awareness.
Oh man, self-awareness leads to self-awareness. That's good.
So we're in the middle of mental health conversations are at the forefront.
Yeah.
Now.
Absolutely.
And I think what's extremely important, what I've learned, is that I cannot effectively help someone with like practical tools to help them move if I don't have the tools to effectively
It is so
move.
true.
Theory is one thing.
Yep.
I can read.
Oh, we major in theory.
We can do theory all day long.
We're on theory. Every generation will
Yes.
tell you what they think until they.
But until I get I do the work to.
I got it.
We talked about this in a previous episode.
Yeah.
Until I do the digging on me, how can I effectively help someone else dig? If I've never started a fire in the woods before, I can't help someone else start a fire.
I can tell you what I know.
Yes.
I can tell you what I heard.
Yes.
I can even tell you what I studied. But if you have been in any type of higher education, not even just higher education, but just life scenarios,
Yes.
we all know it's a difference between me learning how to fight and now I actually got to fight. Because when somebody's throwing fists at you, when they throwing these hands, what was it, Mike Tyson?
Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth.
You get punched in the mouth, all of a sudden, what you know got to come out. Forget what I heard. I've been from Oak Cliff all my life.
Right.
And Oak Cliff fight a certain way in Oak Cliff. So I might have took a little judo here and there. If I didn't get proficient, if it didn't get deep on the inside of me, what I know is going to come out. So the more I check on what I know, I can help people navigate those things because I know it.
And so how do I handle adversity? Because that's what we're talking about. Getting hit in the mouth, like that is adversity. And so I know this is drilling down a hole right here. But a lot of this generation, from what they're telling me, they get called soft a lot.
Yeah.
They say, "Oh, this generation's soft."
Oh, yeah.
We got called soft.
Yep.
Like every generation calls the other generation soft.
Yeah.
I don't know why that is, but why are they soft?
Let's go.
Please go.
I feel like you should, as a parent, especially as a father of sons, I understand why, and I know you understand the same thing, why we want our kids to be strong. Because we know that the world is not easy. We know it. So we want our kids to be strong. However, while we're working on being strong ourselves, solving our problems, our kids get to benefit from our decisions. Therefore, they don't have to fight the same battles that we had to fight. And then on one side, we're like, man, I'm just glad I could provide these opportunities. Then on the other side, it's, oh, you don't know what it's like.
So they're confused.
They're confused.
They are confused.
Instead of us teaching them the principles we learned along the way, which will help them no matter their scenario, we find ourselves kind of ridiculing them sometimes. Teach them the principles. Why? Because there's a scripture in Acts, and I'm going to paraphrase it because I don't know it by heart, but it says that each and every one of us were born for this time, this location even, this moment in time, so that we could reach out to God and find Him. Well, why do you reach out to God? You're facing your different challenges. Most of the time, that's what draws us in. Sometimes it's the curiosity of the sun shining and the beauty of things and people that causes us to draw out to the Lord. But many times, it's the cross that we're bearing. That cross draws us in and says, oh man, I need to reach out to the Lord. Well, every generation is going to have their own cross. So if we teach them the principles and then highlight the fact that you might not have to walk as far as I did to school, you might not have to walk at all. You might Uber to school in these days. So you're not in the snow and all of that stuff, but you will have to deal with adversity in your classroom. You will have to deal with adversity in the politics of the day. You're going to have to face something, some stuff I can't even fathom as a parent or as a mentor, but you're going to need to know these principles. So I think we have to shift our mind from, talking about them for not knowing what things are like, but actually saying, I'm glad you don't have these issues because you got something ahead of you that I don't even know how to practically tell you how to deal with because I don't even know that type of problem,
Wow.
but I can give you the principles I learned along the way.
Wow. Thanks for watching the conversation on the Generations YouTube page. Make sure you subscribe and watch for more great content.